It's a special blessing given by Didi, Dr. Nirmala, 2 months back, where she actually said, I mean, why don't I train the trainers all over whichever BKs needed it? So that's one of the reasons why this Train the Trainer series is started. And also because Sister Helen is one of the oldest, she just spoke just now. Sister Helen is the oldest senior BK, one of the oldest senior BKs in Malaysia. So it's also mooted by her, this idea of presentation skills. So that is why we have it today. And before we start, actually, let me just tell you some of the conditions, because this is an online training today, but actually this training is going to be, can be used for face-to-face or online, it doesn't matter. So one of the conditions which I'm going to have for this training is, I will be calling out your name, all right? So I hope it's okay with you. All right, so it's because we have to do that. Now, the reason for that, you need to make this very clear with your participants. Your participants, whoever is in front of you, you see, they are here and they are interested. They must be interested to learn. And I should not be wasting their time, and they should not be wasting my time. So normally what I do, you can actually try this out. You can actually tell them, look, I will have to call your names and ask you for your opinion and ask you some questions. It's okay if you don't know, you can just say, I'm not so sure, that's fine. But that's the way we make sure they are following us. If not, their cameras are off and they're doing something. That's how it works in the online world sometimes when they're forced to do things. Okay, so thank you so much. I hope you have filled up the forms, all right? So please do fill up the forms, the Google form if you have not. Thank you so much. Let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Okay. Good. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's get moving. Okay. So I'm also going to close my video. Okay. So let's get moving here. So this is our course today. Now, this is a Train the Trainer series, meaning some of the slides will be meant for participants and some of the slides will be meant for teaching purpose or for idea sharing purpose. Now, in this case, we are going to look, in today's lesson, we're going to look at three things, right? We're going to look at three things, and that is, number one, the delivery techniques. And then we're going to have the engagement strategies. Now, delivery technique simply means how would you be able to convey the message? It's quite simple. You can see that. Engagement strategies is absolutely important, because if you do not engage, if we do not engage with the audience, most probably they are thinking about something else. We need to actually get their attention, especially if it's online. So we are going to look at some engagement strategies, but in 2 hours, we will not be able to cover the entire stuff, but I will cover all three, at least some aspect. And probably one of the very important stuff is this one, the data visualization. Now, this, in my opinion, is not well understood or not well presented to people. So I'm going to explain to you this, because this by itself is going to create a lot of impact. So these are the three things we're going to look at. Is it okay? All right, good. So can anybody tell me something? What would you understand by data visualization? Anybody can help me out here? Can I, Abjit, I'm so sorry. Abhijit, I'm so sorry, your video is open, so I'm going to call you first. All right. Okay. Tell me something. If you're not sure, it's okay. Perfectly fine. I can't hear you. Can't hear you. You're muted. You're muted.
To allow them to unmute. Hang on.
Please unmute.
Yeah, hang on.
Just hang on. Just hang on. Sister Helen will unmute.
Okay. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abhijit.
Yeah, it's working now. It's Om Shanti to everybody. I'm Abhijit from India. Yes, and as per my thinking, the data visualization is means whatever the data is available, whatever the information is available, how why will we are processing those information in our mind. Means whatever is there, how we are segregating in a clear picture. That is data.
Sorry, Abhijit, I'm going to ask you more questions. Who is thinking, the audience or the presenter? Who is doing what with the data?
The presenter.
The presenter.
I think the presenter. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. What about any? Brother Sailash, would you like to say anything? What do you think is data visualization? You need to unmute. Can you? Okay, I can't hear you. I'm sorry, Brother Sailash.
He's muted.
Okay.
He needs to unmute.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm audible?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm Sailesh from Visakhapatnam, India. What I understand from data visualization is to present any information that we are trying to communicate to the audience in such a way that they are able to visualize and correlate with the what is available, what they know about it.
Thank you.
So they are able to correlate it with the data that I am giving.
Thank you. Can I ask one more last person? Justin, I think is from Jakarta, right? Justin, you want to say something? What do you think? Data visualization, anything comes to your mind?
Shanti, brother.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm off camera. I'm not sure whether with the data because I've never used the data.
Thank you. Okay, that's very good. All right, thank you so much. Okay, good. So now I'm just going to tell you what I just did, because this is the trainer session, right? Now, what I just did was, you see, when I asked three people with different voice, different frequencies, and as three different people speak, the audience were listening to me, but when three different people start to speak, the frequencies are different. Okay, we need to unmute some people for now. Sister Helen, I will need your help. Please mute everybody for time being. Okay. Now, so when three different people start to speak, a few things happen. A different kind of energy enters the atmosphere. A different kind of frequency actually breaks into the surrounding. And others are starting to hear what they're saying. And there'll be a change in attention. There'll be slightly an increase in attention rather than just listening to me. So this is a technique we use almost at every part of our presentation. So even if you are giving a 1 hour lecture, all right, I'm just going to come out from this thing for a while. Even if you're giving a 1 hour lecture, you still interact with the audience by asking, what do you all think? Like if you notice Shivani Ben, how she speaks, it's so completely different. I want you to watch Shivani Ben again. She'll say, what do you think? What do you say? What do you say? I didn't hear you again. Please say it again. Very good. What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? Can you see what she's doing? This is the strength. This is a technique. This is a technique for the trainer to relax, save your time. If you're a bit panicky, if you're a bit nervous, then this is an excellent strategy, because during that 3-4 minutes, during that 3-4 minutes of talking to people, all right, you can actually relax yourself and start thinking what is next you're going to say if you are nervous. So remember, this is a trainer's strategy where if you're stuck, if you're nervous and you don't know what's next coming up, or if you're not so sure, you're waiting for Baba's touching, break that talk by asking people what they think. And then once they say, praise them and say, thank you so much, you have given me another perspective, another way of looking at things. And then we can summarize and say, okay, I'm going to give you the answers soon, but let's wait, let's proceed. All right, so this is one of the strategies you must try to test out. All right, so remember, this technique is very good. As I said, why? Because when people speak, a different kind of energy comes in. Number two, some people out there might be resisting you, and that also breaks. It's another form of ice breaking. All right. So this, I would really like you to try it out if you're giving it a talk. All right. So you can try this method every 10 minutes, asking questions, asking people, getting their responses, feedbacks, and then giving your feedback. That's really a good technique. All right, I'm going to continue sharing. Okay, good. Let's proceed further. The next thing you probably want to do, right? Now remember, we are now doing it for, this course is for many purposes. One of it is for workshops. One of it is for talks, direct, all face-to-face, or it could also be for an online. The other way of doing an ice breaking is, let's get to know about each other. Now, let me give you an example, okay? Now, of course, we can do an ice breaking. Generally, how people do it is they'll just give a game and introduce a game, or someone else does a game or plays, and then everybody laughs, and that's it. That's one form of ice breaking. But however, sometimes I don't do those kind of ice breaking. I do it differently. Now, why? Now, I'm going to do it this way, all right? I'm going to show you how. Now, I'm going to say, can every one of you tell me 3 things about yourself? Number 1, tell me your name, tell me what you do or where you come from. And number 3, something very unique about yourself. Unique would, please make sure you understand this question, because I'm going to ask one of you right now, and get ready. Please tell me your name, where you come from. All right, so that's 2. Number 3, tell me something really unique about yourself that makes people like come to you, get attracted to you, or want to speak to you, or want to like, not sure, just get to know you. Something so unique about you. Not only get to know, but something so unique about you. Is there anything like that? And you need to share. All right. So I'm going to call a few more people. Can I call on Sister Rema from Singapore? Sister Rema, could you please tell me, because I know your name, where you come from, could you please tell me something really unique, or what you do in Singapore, and something really unique about yourself? Could you please? Thank you.
Okay, Om Shanti. Of course, as Brother Nanda mentioned, I'm from Singapore. I'm practicing this Rajaga since 1981. That is like 42 years. And I think that my very unique trait would be a lot of determination from the start. So I think that willpower and determination normally sort of rubs on others, and they get that courage to do something. That's what
Thank you. So, Sister Rima, I'm going to ask you one more question. Has anyone ever noticed your willpower?
Yes, a lot of people have noticed.
They have. Has anybody said something good about it?
Yeah, they say that you're able to do all these things is because you have a lot of willpower.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to call on Sweta Rani, please. Please tell me where you're from, what you do, and something so unique about yourself.
Om Shanti.
Yes, Om Shanti.
Okay. Actually, I'm from Sasaram. I'm studying in Sasaram, but I'm from Patna. So if I'm saying very unique in me is I'm explaining something in very, very clear. I'm explaining, my explanation power is very good.
That's very
It's,
good. So
yeah.
people can understand you very clearly. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if I am knowing something, then I'm explaining someone is very, they explain very carefully. Matlab,
All right.
it's,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
thank you.
Good. One more person. Kumara, are you there? Okay. Okay. One more person. One more last person. Stephanie, can I ask you? Stephanie, you're there?
Hi,
All right.
Om Shanti.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Yes, my name is Stephanie and I'm from Malaysia. And something that is unique about me most likely will be my work ethic, professionalism. Yeah, I think that will be all.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Now, let me just get back to you. Why did I do this and when do you do this? Now, when you see somebody who is sitting in your audience who is like having a face and is not believing you and who wants to resist you, that's the person you call. And when they say something like, okay, my specialty is this, you go, wow, that's really good. And then you break their resistance. You get it? All right. So this is sometimes because some people will come there and just stare at you, and I'm not sure what they have in their mind. All right. So these are some of the techniques you can try. Of course, there are more, but let's get into more important stuff. Okay. So I hope jot it down, write it down. Okay. Now I'm going to show you one more technique. Now let's take a look. So what did I just tell you was, now after I sorry, so I'm going to say, I'm going to ask all of you right now, could you please take out a pen, a pencil, sorry, whatever, and a writing pad, a paper. Could you please write down in your own words the two techniques which I just told you in your own words, whatever you have understood. Could you just do that for me? Don't worry if you forgot, doesn't matter, just write it down. Okay, you've done it. Good, thank you. If you have, that's good. Could I just ask, I mean, if you're not sure, just say, I'm not sure, I forgot. Could you please repeat? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Can I ask Laura? Laura, you're there? Not sure, sorry. If you're there, could you just tell me what have you written?
Well, you said to ask people to mention something, what their name, where they're from, and something unique that makes people speak to them.
Good, thank you. Anything else you would like to add?
No.
Why? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Now, why can somebody just tell me quickly, why did I ask you, why, what is the reason behind this? What's the reason? What is the learning for you? When do you actually need to do this? The first thing I told you, ask questions, all right? Or ask them to explain something special about themselves. The second thing I said was when you want to break somebody who is resisting you, all right? So these are the techniques. Now, why did I ask you to write down? Do you know? I purposely asked you to write down because writing down is another way of getting your attention. You see, one way is I asked you a question and then you started talking. So when you started talking, when the audience starts talking, their attention again, they are paying attention to me. And when I ask you to write, that becomes the third way of getting them to pay more attention. So you see, when you want to hold people's attention, especially when you're thinking, hey, these people, their attention is moving away from me, you stop and say, could we just write down what we just learned? Number one. Number two, if you think they have forgotten, then you dictate. We dictate for them. Number one, we did this, we learned this. Could you just jot it down? I'm going to ask you later at the end of the class. Number two, we did this, we learned this. All right, take it down. I'm going to actually ask somebody to summarize at the end of the class. Is that okay with you? So this is how, this is the trainer's technique. All right, okay. Good. Let's move on a bit more. So now you know about each other. Now, sometimes it's good to have, especially if you're doing something professional and you are dealing with some very high level people. I'm going to give you two ways of introducing yourself. Look at this, okay? Now, this, assuming this is me, DK Nanda, all right? I simply put my age here, and I'm going to right now click this. This is my, then I said, this is my biodata, this is who I am, and I'm going to start, all right? Now, stop. Let's stop this thing. What are you doing? What exactly are you doing? Tell me. What are you doing? This is the worst technique you want to do. Can you see? When I'm going to try it. I'm not sure what you're going to do, but I just put this, right? Of course, you might think I'm boasting. Forget boasting this. We'll come to that. Now, when I put the slide, it's a huge mistake. Why? You see, you're not even listening to me. You're reading the slide. Am I right? You're reading the slide. Now, with the purpose of you standing in front of me is to listen to me, not to listen. You don't want the slide to speak to you. You want me to speak to you. So this is a huge mistake. Please don't ever do this. And this is what people do. They will put all the slides, lots of words, and then they start reading from it, or they start explaining, but the attention of the participant is not on you, but it's on the slide because they are reading. And the mind cannot multitask because it either reads or listens to you. So you have lost as a trainer. Can you see? You don't ever do that. But let's say I have to do this. Let's say I have to do this because there's some top people. And by the way, I'm a strategy consultant. And so I meet a lot of top people at the top management. Sometimes these people come there with lots of ego and they just don't want to listen to me. So at such times, I have to show them, look, I am also this. Now, how do you do that? All right. So I'm going to show you. Now, I'm not asking you to do this, but I'm just showing you as a trainer, you need to know a few steps. Number one. So I'm going to just put this up. Now, remember, I only put 4 lines because, and I'm going to give a gap of 5 to 10 seconds. I'm going to just look around and not look at the slide because they are going to read the slide. Since they are so interested in reading the slide, let them read. Now, after reading the slide, what are they going to do? They're going to look at you. Now you talk. Now you just tell them, look, I have been in the training profession for the last 22 years. Yeah, so training is what I do. Now you never read one by one because they've already read it. We just highlight, I've been doing training for the last 22 years. You know, it's been a real journey. You talk about something else. What do you say? You talk about slide experience of yours. Don't take too long, maybe 30 seconds. Can you see? You never ever read from the slide, because really good presenters never read from the slide. Now, after that, what are they doing? They're waiting. So now, as you're explaining, you show them the next part. And then again, there are about 6 to 7 lines there. I know all of you are reading. Okay, I give you time to read. You can read. So I'm now just going to walk and look at them. This is the time I'm just going to look at them and give drishti. 10 seconds. Then I say, my work is mainly with strategy and thinking skills. That's what I teach. And quite surprisingly, I also do web development. I'm also a web developer. Then I quickly change. Any one of you here is a web developer? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, great. You are one of them? Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Well, that's nice. Any one of you are a coach here? You do coaching here? Can you see what I'm doing? I'm not asking them. Of course, they are reading, but I'm not reading at all. Right? Okay. Now, is there a question? Somebody has asked me a question. If you have a question, let me know. Okay. All right, good. So this is what we do. Then I'm going to show them the next, if you have to. You say, this is what I've studied. Actually, I studied all this because I'm a trainer. I've got lots of flexible time. That's why I did all this. So I'm sure if you have more time, all of you can actually study it also. So that's it. They have read through. I never read any of this. Can you see? I never read any of this. They read each one. And I didn't boast about myself. I just said, this is what I am. Please read it yourself. I'm not going to speak about it. Do this if it's necessary. If you think the crowd is a very simple crowd, but you still have to give an explanation, then do it this way. I do 3 things in my life. I actually am a strategy consultant. I'm also a psychologist. I do lots of counseling, especially for Brahma Kumaris Association organization. And I'm also doing some web developer. I love doing programming. So this is about me. All right. Thank you. Let's get moving. All right. You got it? Now, so can you see there are 2 different ways of doing things? I just used 3. The rest are not important. Why not important? Because the people sitting there in front of me have come for a different purpose. They didn't come to listen to about my own bragging. So therefore, make it simple. That's it. So now your homework, you need to create a very simple introduction for yourself. It can be anything. It can be, I'm a Raj Yoga teacher. I do lots of charity work. And I'm also a very, very ardent student or very good student, whatever it is. Can you see? All right. So this is how you introduce yourself. So keep something ready in case you have to introduce yourself. Okay. All right. Anybody has got any question? Let me just quickly read the chat. Correct. Sister Rema is asking me a question. She sent me a personal message. All right. Now, if someone doesn't respond, even after you call his or her name, what do we do next? How to ice break? Forget about them. Actually, we do not call person repeatedly because that's going to put them in a very tight spot and make them embarrassed. All right. So we just call somebody. Example, I say, okay, Preeti, are you there? So Preeti doesn't answer me. Oh, it's okay. I think Preeti is busy with something. Let's move on to somebody else. So that's it. All right. So we are not forcing anybody to answer. We are just, if it's an online thing, but if it's a face-to-face, then that person might be too shy. Don't force them also. You just say, okay, I'll come back to you. I'm going to go to somebody else. Okay. So never force anybody to do things. Now, next, let's move on to our subject. If you have any question, just put in the chat. Okay, so far. Okay. Good. Now, the 3 areas that we wish to focus. Let's move on into our subject. I'll give you these slides later, all right? I'll email it to you. Now, the three areas we want to focus today is this. Number one, content and data visualization. Now, what does that mean? I know some of you have actually told me your answers are correct, and I'm going to give you a more detailed explanation. But this is so important, all right? This is so important. Now, then number two, you want to actually learn, why is the audience in front of me? Now, if the audience are coming for a special program and they know what the program is, then that's easy. But then you need to clearly know what they want. Why are they sitting there? Baba calls this as, do you know how to feel the pulse? So the pulse can be felt. Baba calls it pulse, right? Baba calls what do you call in Tamil and Hindi? Nadi, is it? Malay. All right, pulse. So how do you feel the pulse? We can only feel the pulse if they start saying something. So one of the easy ways to feel somebody's pulse is when you ask question. When you ask someone a question and they answer, you know they're thinking about this. But when that person answers, let me give you an example. Let me just draw it here. Let's say there are many people here, right? Do you know why I'm drawing? Because sometimes your attention goes somewhere else. So when I'm drawing, you're watching. So now let's say if I ask this person, and this person starts to answer something. So as this person answers something, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people responded by either laughing, smiling, or did something, but one more person is not responding. Now, this person needs something else. You can actually feel it. So as you're moving along, as you're talking, certain words that you speak will make this person respond or nod their head, then you know what this means. So as a trainer, as a teacher, you really need to be super sharp, watching people, giving them drishti, looking at their eyes, looking, whatever Baba has taught us, right? And catching what they need. And of course, Baba's method, if you are having a very clear intellect, it will touch you. Now, the third thing is your style. Now, in this case, the best person I can mention is Shivani Ben. I want you to watch again. She has got many styles. A style she uses is asking question, pausing, silence for a while, and then she purposely looks here and there. She's got one more style. She doesn't finish her sentences, but finishes with her hand gestures. Can you see? And people can understand that. So these are styles which you use, which attract people. But let me make it simple for you. Number one, what is data visualization? It is not putting up data. Are you making the data easy? What is data? Data means not numbers, please. Data is not numbers. We're not talking about numbers in Baba's Yagya. We are talking about Baba's knowledge. So let's call this data as information. Information. Can you make Baba's knowledge, the information, easy to understand for people? And how easy can you make it? So if you are doing slides, not too many, but if you're doing a slide, that slide has to have information which makes things really easy to understand. So that's called data visualization. So that area, I'm going to give you a few examples and maybe you'll understand later. All right, number two, what are the needs of the audience? What does that mean? I think you've got this. Are you giving people what they need? Or are you talking whatever you have prepared beforehand? Correct? Some of us make notes and then we speak it out. But then the frequency and the alignment of thoughts between the audience and you will be very different. You will be disconnected. You just don't feel the energy. So every time you don't feel the energy, it simply means your frequencies are not resonating. Your frequencies are not aligned. And so you're probably not giving the right stuff. The third thing, are you interesting and are you engaging people for what purpose? To allow people to absorb and pay attention better. So these are the three things we are going to focus today. Today's Train the Trainer stuff. It may not be very deep today because of our time limitation, but we'll try our best. Okay, so let's move on to the first one. I'm going to need you to do some exercise. Watch this. All right, so let's ask some questions first. Now look, if you have these three things, you are probably going to create an impact. But before that, again, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask someone else here, so please take note. Now, if you are giving a talk, if you are a Raj Yoga teacher, if you are a teacher and you speak Gyan, or if you, that's your work. Now, please tell me, what is this? Feeling the pulse. What is this? Do you know how to make the information easier, simple, message gets across really easy? And your style, is it really good? Is it impactful? Now, please tell me, what is your strength? What is your strength in each one of this? What is your strength in each one of these? Can you please take 2 minutes and just tell me? Just put a percentage. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you the percentage. You can put how many you want. What do you think is your strength? First question. When you speak to people, do you make the knowledge, the message very simple, easy to explain? And people are like, wow, amazing, thank you. What percentage is yours? Could you just fill up this form? Or don't worry, I'm not going to ask you your percentage. So just keep it to yourself, but just be honest. Let's understand where you need to work on. Now, or are you taking a very long time to explain something? Now, please put your percentage, any percentage you feel, all right, I'm not so good. I think I'm over here about 50%. Okay, 50%, fine. All right, good. Now, next, move to the next one. If you were to speak in a crowd of, say, 100 people, 200 people, or just 20 people, do you think you can make impact through your delivery and style? And people are like, nice, very interesting. Wow, you hold my attention very well. So if you feel somebody can, that the crowd actually listens to you very attentively, please give yourself 100. But if you think, no, sometimes, so please give me, what's your percentage? Remember, I'm not going to ask you, but please evaluate yourself. Don't worry about it. All right? Okay. Now, good. Now, next, when you stand in front of people, I know some of you speak just automatically, but very automatically you speak because most of us are like so much of knowledge. But are you able to, what do you feel? Are you able to give the audience or people in front of you what they need most of the time? Or sometimes you feel, I think I spoke too much and they got fear and maybe I didn't impress them. Come on, give me a percentage. Could you do that for me? All right, good. All right, just give a percentage, okay? Don't worry, I'm not going to ask your marks, but I will ask you something. I am going to ask you which is your highest. That's all I'm going to ask you. Can I ask? Who can I ask? Somebody? Sujata, Sister Sujata is there. Could you just tell me What is your highest mark? Which one did you get your highest?
Visualization and data.
Thank you.
The content data and visualization.
Amazing. Well done. So you can actually make, okay, good. So make data simple, message simple. Data means message. One more person. Somebody has put the name as LB. Can I just ask LB? LB? What's it, which one is your highest, LB? LB is there? Okay. We didn't hear. Okay, one more person. One more person. Anyone? Anyone wants to go? Good. Thank you. Sailash. Sailash, you want to go?
Me too at data visualization.
Wow, very good. Again, that's good. All right. Thank you. So let's move on. Thank you. So now you know your strength, hopefully. Let's move on a bit. Now, what happens if you have this? If you have this, but you don't have this, people are not going to be convinced with what you say. That means somebody comes to your talk, comes to your class, but goes back not convinced. What's the meaning? Can you see? They are not convinced with what you said. So that means, that simply means you probably didn't give them what they need. So this is how we understand what went wrong. Let's take another one. You understand what they need, and then your style was really good, but then your message appeared very complicated and they couldn't visualize. People couldn't visualize. People couldn't see what you're trying to say. People couldn't imagine what you're saying. Then they will feel, okay, I've not absorbed it fully. I've not understood it fully. Although you took a long time to explain. Now, the third thing which is going to happen is your style is really poor. But you have that content, you know what people want, so people are not going to pay much attention because they just cannot pay attention. It's not interesting. Okay? So, all right. So this is just a theory. I hope you're okay with this, all right? So we're going to go into this theory. Now, let's go into some practical exercises. This is the theory. Good. Let's go into part one, data visualization. Now, what I mean by this, I'm going to give you two examples. One is a logic example, and the other is Baba's example. It's not really a logic example. Example here, I've given you a data. Please look at the data. This is a data about learning pyramid. It tells you that when you give a lecture, see, I'm explaining to you, but this is really a bad slide. Do you know why? Because I've given the points here and people are not going to pay attention to me because they're going to read. So that's really bad. So when you're doing a slide, never ever put this kind of stuff. This is bad. Less words. Okay, you got it? So first thing you want to do is you don't want people to read. So this is called bad data visualization. Really bad. Number two, I am trying to tell people how they learn. And this is really very important for people who train, trainers and teachers. Now look, if you're just going to lecture and people are going to listen, they are just going to absorb only 5%. Is that what you want? Now think carefully. You give a talk for 1 hour and what remains in their intellect is only 5%. This research has been done for very long. Now, if you are just going to talk and people are just going to listen to you, that's waste of your time and their time. Now, then they have done, if somebody reads, they actually can retain more. And then if you have an audio visual example, you have a slide, maybe they can pay attention more. And if you ask them to speak or do a demonstration or write, they retain more. That's why I told you to write something. That's why I made you speak instead of just listening to me. But wait, I'm just explaining to you this diagram, but it's totally bad. All right, I'm going to tell you why. Let's say then you have a workshop and you are having a group discussion. You get them to practice, and then see, let's say you talk about God, you explain about God to person A, all right? You have explained it to person A. And then now you tell, okay, A, could you just go, or let's give it a name, Amit, okay? Amit. Amit, bye. Now that you have listened to me, could you explain it back to all those people in front of you? Okay, can I challenge you on this? Try your best, try your best. It's okay if you forget. So Amit is going to try to explain, but what do you think? Which category is Amit in now? 90%. This is another way a trainer uses, especially if you're conducting a workshop. Ask them to teach the crowd so they retain more. Right? Now, forget about that. Now, let's say I show this. Let's say I show this. But as I said, this is really bad slide. Everything here is bad. Now, I'm going to change this, and please see what happens. I'm going to now change this and make it more so that easier to visualize. I'm going to use this data visualization technique. So you're going to visualize it better. Please watch, and this is really what I want you to do when you prepare slides. Now look, what did I just do? Let's go back. What is this? Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Quickly, somebody answer. Sister Dimple, can you please tell me, when you look at this slide, what are you trying to focus on? Any answer, don't worry, nothing is wrong.
The words.
The words, thank you. Can you see what Sister Dimple said? She's saying, I'm trying to see, okay, I'm trying to read the words. Sorry, but that is not what I, as the teacher, I'm not telling you. I'm trying to send another message. I want you to understand another message, but your intellect and mind is wandering somewhere else. I have failed as a teacher. Why have I failed as a teacher? Because I wanted to give you one message, but you are looking somewhere else. Can you see? This is really bad because your mind or your intellect does not know where to focus. So this kind of stuff is bad because there's no focus. And so people lose interest, and after some time, they're not going to listen to you. Now, if you are trying to show this slide, please tell me again, please think carefully. What is the one thing? I'm going to ask something, please think carefully. What is the one thing you want to highlight? What would that be? Can I ask Sister Dipali Bandari? Sister Dipali, will you be able to answer me? What is, let me ask you the question again. If you were to tell people something from here, what is that one thing you want to send to them as a very solid message? What would that be? Sister Deepali, you're there? Not there? Okay. Any answer? If you're not sure, just tell me not sure. That's fine. Anybody else? Sister Kavita? I think all of you are scared. You don't want to answer.
Best method to retain information.
Sorry, Suresh. Okay, okay. Sorry, again. You're saying something? Could you repeat?
Okay. Okay. So in my opinion, I think the whole thing is zooming on average retention. That's what you're trying to get at.
Thank you.
Yeah, or Shanti, to teach others. Then we think a lot, and then we have to think a lot to say what to say. So that way we processing the information much more.
Thank
Shanti.
Andre Young from Johannesburg. You want to say something?
Yes, I think what I see from this slide is that we want people to understand us. But very importantly, we must stand under their thinking simultaneously.
Thank you. Okay. Good. Thank you. Now I've got.
What I understand, Bhai, is if I duplicate myself well, I can reach out to more people.
Good. Thank you. Good. Now, four people. I can ask 10 people, and everybody will give me whatever you say is correct. But remember, I, as the teacher, I need to control your thinking. I would like you to know the message that I want to send to you, not have your own interpretation. Because 10 people here are going to interpret and pick up what they like. But that's not what I would like as a teacher. So I want everybody in front of me to understand that single message which I want to send to you. Can you see? But what all of you say is correct. But remember, I am the controller. I am the speaker. I need to control your thinking. So what is it that I want you to take back? Simple. I'm going to say to you, I'm talking to you now, the trainers. Hello, brothers and sisters. Look, don't just talk. You need to create an impact. Now, please understand, all of you here, about 60 of you here, that if they just listen to you, they are only going to go back with just 5% information in their head. That's the message. So now when you look at this, your eyes looks at, what is this? 5%. Then it will link, oh, it's listening. Okay. You try to understand some. So there are three messages here. There's a number which says the information you retain. And that comes from listening. And then final conclusion, I'm telling you, all brothers and sisters who attend this the trainer training, stop talking. You need to create an impact. Because talking only allows people to retain 5% of the information. Now look at the difference of these two slides. I've allowed, at least to some extent, I've allowed the audience to understand this information better. Now you see, I don't want my audience to look at everything because that's not my message. So that trainer needs to understand what is the message you want to drive across. We don't let people make up their own interpretation because then I failed. So what is the message you want them to get? That's it. Got it? All right. So this is one way of making sure that you are in charge, not allowing people to interpret as they like. So that's the whole idea of data visualization. Make it simple and make sure they know what your message is very clearly. Let's take a look at another one. I picked this up from somewhere. I can't remember. Look, tell me. This is one of the courses, I think, teaching meditation. So somebody has posted this and I found this in the Google image. I'm not sure who or where it came from. All right. So, okay, fine. So let's take a look. You tell me, how can we improve this? So what is meditation? I think, let's say one of the teachers is they're teaching. So they're showing this. What is meditation? Meditation is remembrance and inner dialogue and recharging of the soul through connection or whatever. Good, fine. And then they have got this picture here. And then they've got this picture here. All right? Let's start thinking. What? All right, please tell me. What is the message? Is the message in this slide conflicting? The first thing you don't want to do is you don't want to have a conflict in message. Please tell me, somebody, which message or which parts are conflicting. Anyone wants to take a guess? Can I ask Sister Kalpana? Yeah. What do you think? Is something here conflicting, or should not be two different messages? Remember, one slide, one single solid message. People's attention span and retention span is very low. So you cannot have multiple messages, and then you can't force them to process so much of information when the mind is already so tired out there in the Kali Yuga world. Now, please tell me, Sister Kalpana, would you like helping me out? Which one do you think is conflicting or should be there? Anybody wants to speak? Sailash, or who is that? Okay, anybody else? Anybody wants to say something?
Shanti.
Yes.
Shanti. Actually, I think in the picture, what is meditation? One point, I think that connection is missing.
Okay.
If it is added.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else wants to add something different?
Om Shanti. I feel that this word remembrance and inner dialogue seem to be conflicting. Of course, the third one, no need to say, but these two are definitely conflicting.
Thank you. Maybe it's not conflicting, but they are two different subjects. There are three different. Could be. All right. Thank you, Sister Sujata. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else got a different answers? Anybody else wants to say something?
I think the picture, the roses shouldn't be there because we are talking about meditation. So it should be only that.
Thank you. There's just too much of info. Where do you want the listener or the observer to see? And what do you want them to process? Do you want them to process, stay positive, think positive, do positive? You want them to good things, good thoughts. There are 5 different things and plus one here and another picture here. Pictures helping. So there's about 1, meditation, remembrance, dialogue, this and this and this. About 5 different things you are asking the tired intellects of people to process. So the data visualization here is quite bad. We need to make it easier for people to understand. Let's change it. All right. So since somebody has done this, I'm not going to change much. I'm just going to simplify it. I'm sure you already know how, but what did I just do? Let's look at this slide. There's a lot of white background. White is good because it makes the thinking clearer. This has been proven. Too many colors, I know some of you like rainbow colors. It makes things very beautiful, but the message will be lost. Now let's analyze one by one. I've done it differently. This is just an example. Now, when you read this, which is standing out? What is standing out? This word. These 2 words by itself can give you the meaning, connection, supreme being. Now look at the color I'm using. I'm purposely using a subconscious trick. I'm playing games with their sanskar, their subconscious thinking. How? I'm giving two different tones of color. Now, I'm asking you, please tell me, which one do you think, somebody answer me, which one do you think, the light color or the dark color, you feel looks more important? Can somebody tell me? Sister Ragini, would you be able to tell me? Now, my question, if you didn't hear it. You see, there's two colors here.
Yes.
Light color and one is a dark color. Automatically, which one in your thinking feels more important? Which word? The darker or the lighter?
Darker color.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you see what I just did? I have emphasized in a subconscious way. Because people learn things which they see automatically. You don't have to teach them. People are observing and learning different. It's another form of learning. So can you see this? When I make this, their intellect, sanskar, whatever, picks this up and starts to process that faster than the lighter color. So this is how we do advertisements, flyers, slides. But of course, if you're giving a talk, you can't show color. So let's say I'm now going to play the role of Shivani Ben. Okay. Now look, Shivani Ben doesn't use a slide. If Shivani Ben were to speak, how do you think she speaks this? You go and watch this. She'll say, meditation is a connection. Connection with the Supreme Being. Connection, Supreme Being. I'm not exactly same as her, but I'm telling you how she speaks. You can go and watch. What did she say? It's a connection. She doesn't finish the sentence. She won't say with the. It's a connection. Her fingers will move, and then she'll say, connection, Supreme Being. So what she did in words, I've shown in color. And this is for people who are using slides. Can you see now? So what you write on the slide is what you are going to emphasize. That's the next technique. Emphasize 2 or 3 times what people need to understand. That means you will say it like this. Meditation is the connection with the Supreme Being. Connection, Supreme Being. Can you all understand that? What is meditation? Can you please repeat? I'm going to ask my participants to repeat. Say it again, please. What is meditation? Connection. Correct. And then, who's there? Who's up there? Supreme Being. Connection, Supreme Being. Can you see what I just did? So that's called emphasize in 2 ways. Can you see what Shivani Benz does? She is, I don't know, probably Baba's gift. But we can learn everything, almost whatever I'm showing you here, she does that without a slide. But you can actually use the slide and improve your talks. Right? No, we are not comparing to her, sorry. Okay, that's different. She's a different level. Okay. So, but what did we just do? Can you see? Emphasize. So can somebody repeat? Come on, someone. I'm going to ask you again. Can somebody please tell me what are the things I asked you to write down? Anybody still remembers right from the start? What is that? Number 1, number 2, and number 3 now is emphasize. Or is it number 4? I think I've told you, ask questions, ask people to speak, ask people to write, repeat certain things, emphasize certain things, and sometimes don't finish the sentence because why? Can you see again? I'm going to say, meditation is connection with, can you please tell me? Meditation is the connection with, what am I asking you to do? I'm asking you to finish the sentence in your mind. Why did I ask you to do that? Because then your mind, the participant's mind, will actually think about it deeper, and it go deeper inside their samskar. So this is the technique. You never rush, and you don't have to speak too much. Use the techniques. You'll become really good. Go back to Shivani's video again. Does she speak much? No, she's very slow, a lot of emphasis. She doesn't finish a sentence sometimes, can you see? She uses her hand gestures to finish the words. And then she looks here and there, asks people, what do you think? Please tell me, and so on. All right, so that's exactly what we are going to, but I'm showing it to you in a slide so that you can use both. All right, good. Thank you. Are you following me? Come on, I'm going to stop for a while. I've been talking too much. Good. Now, this is another technique we can use. What is that? Stop the talk. Forget the talk. And tell, okay, I've been talking too much. Look, I need your feedback. I need to know what you're learning. Come on, tell me something. Tell me, this is a method to save or relax. Because when you do this, you can relax. You can connect back to Baba because you're talking. Sometimes your connection is broken. All right, so I'm going to ask you, what's your feedback? What do you think? Are you following me? Are you finding it quite difficult? Is there any part there which you need me to emphasize? Then they will all be so quiet. What do you do? All right, I'm going to give you a situation now. Throw them situation and say, okay, what do you think? I'm going to give you 3 minutes. Why you give 3 minutes? Not for them, it's for you. To relax, to connect with Baba, you need to know how to waste time. You see, we never rush when we talk. Because remember, people need to absorb, and then that information must settle inside, and then they need time to process. Somebody needs to challenge it, and then they must speak it out. You need to give time for all this. This is how you actually control the talk. You just control the talk. Right? Good. So I'm going to take you. Okay. Anybody wants to give their feedback so far? Please tell me something. Can I read the... All right. Can I read the slides? Okay. Sister Deepika Bandari, please tell me. What do you think? Any news? Anything? Any feedback?
Om Shanti, brother.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, brother, it's going great. And this is my first time because I'm a very shy person to give the presentation. So that's why I'm learning. I'm very new, but it's quite good. Right now, I'm currently a little bit confused, but I'm writing. I'm writing with you. So
you're confused about something. Please tell me, what is that?
Means it's mixing right now, but I'm making notes so that I can, I can collaborate later on. Yeah, like you told us that how to gain the attention of the people while giving you means while preaching the audience. So this is really nice. Like means we have to go slow so that they can also visualize and analyze, or means they can finish the sentences, whatever we are means we want to provide them. So this is really nice new thing for me. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you. And I still remember you from the social media training.
Yes, brother.
Good to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Sister Romina has written something here. All right, in the chat. Yeah, she's saying, Sister Romina, she's saying the light and the dark color. Yeah, you need to play that. This light and dark color in the European countries, American, people like that. The Asian people like too many colors. So sometimes the culture is slightly different. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's move on. Okay. Let's move on a little bit more. I need to finish this. Good. So now let's move on. Good. Where am I? Good. Now. But wait. There's still an inner dialogue. right? So this I'm going to throw away. Remember, there's 3 information here. Each slide, one solid, powerful message, finished, and one picture. So here you're saying, look, the words, the picture, you don't even have to explain. Now, please tell me, I have said supreme being, and I've said connection. The observer, the new person who's never taken the course, will start thinking, okay, so this is the supreme being, God, I suppose. You can use God if you want to. Can you see they make their own interpretation? All right, so I'm here, I need to connect here. That's what this is saying. And then you go in and strengthen that thinking. See that? All right, good. Next part. Look at that. Inner dialogue. Look at the total difference. Look at that. Can you see the difference here? The slides speaks by itself. Look at this slide. I don't know where to focus, but here, correct, we have an inner dialogue, right? Now, please tell me which, look at the color play. Please tell me, why am I using this color? Can somebody tell me? What did I do? The start is darker. And I want you to see the inner dialogue first. Then look at the start. Then read something else. What am I doing? I am making the reader think as they read. That is the power of this kind of color. Because if it's just one single color, they will just read everything and don't know what to think. Can you see that? So they pick up this and then they connect this and then they connect this, but each time they're thinking. And then they start to think, okay, inner dialogue, oh, there's a circle here. They might come up with their own understanding. Of course, you can make your own. And then you explain to them what's happening. This is our sanskar. Mind, intellect, okay. Okay, so just start. That's it. The slide speaks by itself. Imagine you post this on your FB. Please tell me. People look at that and start thinking, what do they think? Inner dialogue, start, empower. What's the next question? What do you think the next question is? Somebody please tell me, put in the chat. That's all you put in the FB, Facebook. What do you think they'll do? Can somebody type to me? Type for me in the chat. They look at this in a Facebook. The first thing is, it's very dull. It's not colorful, yeah. But what will they start thinking? They'll start thinking. Can somebody please help me out? Anyone wants to help me out with the chat box here? So anybody just open your speakers and just say, what do you think they'll start thinking?
They will question themselves what to have, what is to empower, what is the inner dialogue, what is to empower.
Thank you so much. Good. You see, there's some in the chat. Sister Rani is saying, how do I do it? Somebody else is saying, that's an inner dialogue. What is that? When, how? What is an inner dialogue? How to connect? That's all. Can you see? That's the impact. And then below you say, contact Brahma Kumaris. Understand? But on the other hand, you can make a full rainbow color here, so beautiful, and people say, wow, it's beautiful. But the thinking has not been triggered. They have not been thinking, wow, nice picture, and they move on to the next. You did not trigger their thinking. The whole idea of a message, why do you want to teach something or send a message, is because you want people to think. Right? Because if you want them to question, because when you have a question, the mind becomes restless. Intellect will ask a question. The mind becomes restless because the mind will want to know, hey, what's the answer for this? That's how you make people restless with this kind of slides. Right? So this is what we call as advertising kind of information. When you want people to look at your advertisement. Thank you. Sister Helen is saying something. Evoke, invoke, provoke, action, so many things. Sister Geeta is saying something. Yes, there's more to this. Of course, there's more to this. All right. So I'm just triggering you, making sure you're exposing you to few things. There's more to see. All right, let's move on. Now, second part, let's try to finish as much as possible today. All right, although this is just the first part today we are doing. Part 2. What is your style? Do you have a style? I'm not sure. As a speaker, as a trainer, you must have flexible styles, not a single style. A single style is valuable for 1 or 2 talks. After that, people get bored of you. So every talk needs to have multiple styles, and people must be like hoping to find new stuffs. Now, what is a style example? Look at this. Look at this. I'm back to this diagram. Where was this diagram? This was the previous diagram, right? I made it small. So now, assuming your student, you're a teacher, you're showing them this. You're teaching somebody this. They're looking at it, and then they've understood. Oh, it's a connection. Oh, it's a supreme being. Okay, so they think they've understood. Now, you as a trainer, never do something. What is that? Never, ever do something. You never do this. Of course, in Raj Yoga courses, we straight away tell, right? God is Shiva, God is this, God is that, God is that, God is that. You can. But if the student is sitting in front of you, you don't have to rush. Don't give a direct answer, because a direct answer is what school teachers do. They spoon feed the answer, or a tuition teacher does. You go for after school classes. In a tuitions, private tuition, the school teacher or the tuition teacher will spoon feed you and say, this is the answer. This is how you write the exam. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. Sorry. As somebody who wants to create impact, you never give direct answers. Have you seen the answers in Shivani Ben's talk? She will provoke, ask question, emphasize, silent, talk to people, and then she'll say, you need to do 3 things. What is that? And then she won't give answer. What do you think we should do? So now these students are in front of you. No direct answer. Now, my next question to you. I'm not giving any answer. How do you make people think? Please tell me something. How do you make people think? Remember, this is so important. I'm going to tell you why people must think. Let me quickly tell you this. Mind, I'm going to say mind, your buddhi or intellect, and your sanskar. Right? You have your mind, you have your intellect, buddhi, and your sanskar. If you give a direct answer, please tell me where you think it goes. Thank you, sister. All this, yes, thank you. You ask questions. Now, if you give a direct answer, it will say, okay, it might go through, I'm not sure, it might go through here and just sit here. Now, what did you just do? The learning didn't happen. Think means people must process it and come up with an answer, and they must feel convinced by the answer. How do you do that? So one of the chats, Sister Aldis has said, is ask questions. Now, please tell me, when you ask good questions, what are you doing? You're asking a question. I'm not sure where exactly it goes. Let's say it goes to the intellect. The intellect starts thinking. But do you know what happens at that time? The sanskar starts exploring all the past experience. It starts to explore the experiences in life connected to that question. And then it starts to connect this thing. And maybe the mind starts creating thoughts. I'm just guessing. I'm just using all these three things, but something happens. You get it? And so, can you see what's happening? Something just came out from the sanskar. The mind is trying to create something. The intellect, it is starting to say yes, no, no, not possible, whatever. This is called processing. And then it comes up with its own answer, and then it waits for your answer. Your answer comes at the end. And then you ask, what do you think this is? What do you think? And he'll say, I think it's God. Are you sure? Why do you think God is shown like this? They start thinking. Don't give an answer. Have you seen a Shiva Lingam? What do you think it is? Is there any connection? You keep asking, trigger, 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 their sanskar. You never know. You might have triggered some very old birth sanskar. And so they finally feel, now what's the trick here? The answer you are supposed to give finally comes out from their own mouth, because their own mouth, they say it by themselves, and they feel, I found the answer. Actually, it's not they found the answer. Your questions guided them towards that answer. That's how people do not reject knowledge, because they think they found the answer by processing it. So the trick is, your questions must trigger their thinking and make them say it out through their own mouth. That is called facilitation. And that's why we call trainers as facilitator. Facilitators are people who say, make other people, question people, and make them say out the answer that was supposed to be the right answer. They allow people to find that answer with their questions. This is what we do. All right? So how do you make people think? Let's close this. Ask questions. How do you ask questions? You see this happening with Shivani Ben, isn't it? Engage, interact. So why do you want to interact? Why? You want them, you want their sanskars to start exploring, the mind to connect things, their intellect to come up with different answers, different possibilities, come up with an answer. All right? Don't worry about mind or intellect or sanskar, but something happens. All right? Okay, good. So you got it? So this is the power of question. Of course, there are other techniques such as, what other technique is there? Number 2 is your voice. Voice cannot be flat. If you have a soft voice, I suggest use your mic. Raise your voice, slow down a bit. You see, when you want to say something important, let's say your voice is very high, right? You want to say something very important. What do? You raise your voice higher? No, you bring down very softly, like a whispering voice. And they all become quiet. Can you see what I'm saying? Let's say I'm talking about something. And then here, suddenly, I'm going to say something absolutely important. All right? Let's say I want to say something absolutely important. Oops, sorry. Let's say here, I want to say something absolutely important here at this point. And so you can actually use the technique of soft, make your voice very soft, like a whisper. And then they all go very quiet, trying to listen. And then you raise your voice a little. It's a technique. So voice is high, low, high, and then it goes high. And then sometimes it's just complete silence. I would like you to watch Sister Shivani's video, any one of it, and link all this and see, because I can only think of Shivani Ben in spiritual world for now. All right? So you can watch this and link with her talk. You getting it? Okay. Now, emphasis, I've already told you. Certain word you need to say like connection with God. Connection. Emphasize your volume. Sometimes it's totally silent. Sometimes it's fast and then slow. You give a gap, look at them, connect yourself back to Baba, give them drishti. They will be looking at you very quietly, and then they'll be thinking, why is this person silent suddenly? Make them think. You give drishti, you look at Baba, and then continue back again your speech. Emotion and expression. Have you seen sometimes Shivani Bank's face changes when participants answer? I want you to watch that. It's actually very interesting because a very serious, knowledgeable, wisdomful person is speaking, and then their emotion changes, and sometimes they'll watch. I'm not sure whether you've seen Dadiji Prakash Mani when she reads Murli in Madhuban Om Shanti Bhavan. Those who have seen, she's got so much of expressions, all right? So very different, very serious. Sometimes she'll become like a childlike, sometimes so totally different. So this gets people so glue, like a glue stuck to you. Attention is there. All right. So this is part 2, your style. All right. Now, when you want to say something really important, make it very slow, very clear. Clear word. Right? Okay. So we get there. Now, this is the Lokic world, what do you call Lokic world research. Let me quickly check whilst you're looking. Correct. There's something nice to be read in the chat. Please read. It's a bit long, right? I think it's very good. Now look at this. Impact of your presentation. Look at that. It's a research. It's called the 738-55 rule. But this is a Lokic word. All those great international Lokic speakers. If you're watching a YouTube, anyone, watch this. Their words. Is actually their voice plays a big role. And here I'm going to tell you more, but because this is a Lokic thing, all right, a body language could mean many things. But in BK world, it means more. But can you see, one of body language is confidence. If you have no confidence, your body language, how you stand, how you speak, your drishti, how you look at people, everything changes, and people know you're not good. You're not going to talk what you know, or your vibrations are different. Now, what we do, and let's go to Baba's language. In today's Abhyakti Parivar, I was listening to it when Didi Mohini from New York was talking. It's on the 28th of October, I think yesterday. And one of the questions which was asked was subtle powers. Subtle. She said, our subtle powers, Brahmins, is thoughts. Even our intellect, when you stand in front of people and your intellect is very divine and has got that purity, it can affect people. And I didn't know this thing. I actually don't know this. But she said, even if your sanskar is at a very powerful state, maybe you are like Shakti, you are there having that feeling of Shakti or something, that sanskar can have an impact on the audience. And then she also said that the attitude plays such a big role. What's an attitude? Your attitude controls people's thinking. Manobhav. And she even says, sometimes you just being there changes everything. This one we have seen in Gulzar Dadi all the time. She comes, everything changes. Janki Dadi, she comes, everything changes. And you see, presence. Even Shivani Didi. When she comes, everybody goes different in impact. And when Shivani Didi gives meditation commentary, you know the impact. The whole hall is different. It's like Dadi is there, Baba is there. And another subtle power which you as BK Brahmin trainers have to really use this. Every time, do you know why I love to ask questions in my face-to-face talks? Because when I look at them straight into their eyes and ask questions. It is so powerful. You must try all these things. So all these things automatically puts you in the right. But for outside people, I'm not sure. Some of them might, without knowing, might be doing it. I'm not sure. Or they have trained themselves in some way. So one is confidence here, but ours is special because we can change vibrations through these things. All right. So as a speaker, remember why you cannot simply go in and talk in a class. Let me tell you directly. If you go into a class and give a class without being in a powerful stage, you are being irresponsible, BK. I'm sorry, it's a bit harsh. You're not being responsible. Why? Because you're not helping the soul in front of you. You are just using the words, and there's no power. And the soul in front of you is going to go back, nothing much they get. So once you have understood that, I think before you even give a talk, do some preparation, sit in yoga, make yourself strong, do all this, get your subtle powers, confidence strong. Okay, so this is part 2 of your style and delivery. All right, any questions you have, put in the chat. Okay, good. Correct. Brother Andrew is saying something. Bring Baba into your house. Correct. Bring Baba into your lecture hall. Yes, correct. All right, good. Next one. This is the Lokik body language. Okay, but some of them we do eye contact. Facial expression, different. Today Baba said, your face, divinity on your face, divine face. Your face, because of your purity, changes everything. Avyatmuru. All right, and all the others is of royal. You are more royal. Okay, all this we can learn. It's body language. Now, there's something here. Some of us are rushing to finish our talk. Now, why do you do that? You're not being fair. Remember, if you are given a chance to talk, or if you're talking to somebody, whatever time you're given, you need to do your best. We need to do our best. If not, it's not right. They're not doing our part. All right? So for this, work on your body language, your words, subtle powers. Okay, so that's your style, right? Now the third one, let's quickly, what is that? I'm stuck. Correct. Sometimes, as you're giving a lecture, you get stuck. What do? Because maybe you have forgotten something, or maybe something, suddenly you get disconnected. And then you feel, what's next? I'm not sure. Or some panic thing comes inside, you suddenly have a fear, and so you're stuck. What do? That's the time you take a break. The first technique I've already given you, what's that? Take a break from the talk and say, okay, let's stop here. I need your feedback. That's the first technique. I need your feedback. I need to listen from you. Come on. What are you doing? You're actually stuck, but none of your participants or people know. But you know, I'm a bit stuck. I'm a bit disconnected. I need to get back in shape. I need to make sure my intellect is strong. Okay. So you take the feedback, right? You ask the crowd, what do you all think? What do you all think? Ask about 5, 6 people, what's happening? What have you understood? What didn't you understand? Number 2, you tell them another method. Okay, guys. Okay, brothers and sisters. I think you have been listening to me. I need to show you a new technique. I'm going to show you how to do this. Take 10 minutes to do a commentary. A commentary can be a meditation commentary, or a commentary can be just a relaxation technique. And I do for Lokik people, especially from Muslim religions, I can't do a meditation commentary directly sometimes because they might be against. So I just teach them. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, teach them all this. Okay, these slides, I'm going to give it to you. So you learn this technique. I'm going to say breathe in, breathe out. I do this about 20 times, and there's a technique to it. First, I will tell them breathe in and breathe out between 2 seconds. Breathe in, 2 seconds. Breathe out. Let them do. Then I say, slow down your breathing now. Breathe in for 3 seconds. And breathe out very slowly, 3 seconds. Let's do this for a few times. Then once they can do 3 seconds, now I'm going to make it a bit longer, slower now. Let's do longer, slow. Breathe in slow, 4 seconds. And then they start following me. Do you know what I'm doing? One, I'm making them relax. But actually, I'm getting relaxed. It's a technique to take a break. It is a technique to divert their attention. Let them relax. Then I will bring them until 8 seconds. Breathe in very slowly. Very slow, very slow. Yes, longer, longer, longer. Okay, breathe out. Very 8 seconds. By the time they are 8 seconds, you can feel their entire body is like solid, frozen. They're not moving. And then I tell them, this is really good. You know why? We just did one step, and this already will bring down your blood pressure. And then I teach them. Now, feel your weight on your shoulder. Let it flow down. Let it feel flowing down. That's number 2. I don't rush. Remember, I never rush. Most people will say this and then jump to the next. No. Repeat. Emphasize. How you emphasize? Now, bring your stress downwards from your shoulder. Again, do it again. You see, I'm emphasizing. Now, feel your shoulders, your tight shoulders. Can you feel it? From your shoulders, bring down your weight. Very good. Again, do it again. Your weight, your stress from your upper body, bring down. Can you see how I'm doing it? Slow, take your time. So develop your own method. You don't have to copy me, but you can use this. Use your own method. This is a great technique to bring them into meditation. Now, then once they have done all this, I will do the final thing. What's that? I didn't write step 6. I will tell them around step 4, I will say, relax your eyes, relax your face. Then I will say, you can try this on your own, using your own method. Feel your head to be like a balloon. Inside there is you, the soul. Feel it, feel it. And then sometimes I will say, now be very quiet. Listen to your heartbeat. Use your own technique. But why am I showing you this? Because this is a technique to hold people's wandering mind. Teach them meditation a different way. Then you talk about whatever type meditation you know. That's one technique. All right, you got it? Now, next technique. These are all like when I'm very tired, when I'm a bit lost, and I feel, what am I saying? Wow, the audience and me, our vibration is different. They're not catching me. They're not following me. I think something is not right. So I go into the next. What is it? Very easy technique. Remember, they may not know who Shiv Baba is. Forget that. All right? So what I'm going to do is, watch this. You see, this is how I do it even for Muslim souls. All right? I'm just going to play this. You don't have to do. You just watch. I'm going to play this and I'm going to say, when I play this, the light is going to come towards you. The light is going to come towards you. You please watch that. Now, at the same time, I want you to feel that you are moving towards the center. You move. The light comes towards you. You move towards inside the light. You need to do this for the next 2 minutes. And I played it. You try it. You move inside the light comes. Okay, I'm not going to do it. Try it out on your own self. And then try it out on the people out there. Can you see? You can go this for almost 10 minutes. Keep repeating, move inside. Feel the light touching you. The light is purifying you. And then towards the middle, this is how God looks like. This is God's light, if you want to say, depending on your culture, your country. All right? And then he said, this is how you meditate. Take them on a journey of 10 minutes. But the trick is what? You see, if you simply talk, the trick is what? What is the trick here? If you simply talk, their mind will wander. So give them something to do. What are they supposed to do? They move inside, the light comes out and touch them. So they are doing something. So the mind is busy and listening to you. They move inside the light is moving, touching them. They're listening to you. So you need to create, I've given you 3 methods, okay? But you need to create this kind of methods and keep, especially when you want to conduct talks. So what's the first method? Feedback. Stop the talk, ask for feedback. What's the second method? All right, everybody, let's be silent. I'm going to teach you a very special technique to reduce your blood pressure. That's it. They will be very excited. Blood pressure. But you are teaching them relaxing and then meditation. Now, then you say, I'm going to teach you a concentration method. Use different words, but then you can also always teach them about God later. Shiv Baba's life. And then your work as a trainer, you need to collect more techniques. This is what makes you unique speaker, where others cannot do. You need to find new ways of doing seva. This is what Baba wants you to do. You need to find new ways of doing seva. All right? Good. So I hope you're okay with that. Let's move on and finish this thing. Good. Now, part 3, content. Do I have time? Yes, I have another 15 minutes. Content. Right? Is there anything in the chat? Okay. The link to the video. All right, good. Can. Now, content. If anybody knows the link, I think it's in the YouTube, please send it to Brother Andre or put it in the chat. Content. What is in the content? Now, so important. This is where people get frustrated with you. I come for the talk and I return from the talk with just information, useless. You can say everything. Oh, you can give. How many courses we have given? You have given. You give 7-day classes. You talk about God. You talk. What do you give? You give all information. Fine, okay. So you give information so that they will become your what? People under you in the golden age or silver age. Is that what you're doing? Stop. Stop giving only information. You need to give them something they will remember and apply. And that's called take back. What is it they will take back? Use your own word. I'm using the word take back. When somebody comes and stands in front of me, what is it they will take back? So if the speaker cannot do this, again, I'm telling you, you are not prepared. You are being irresponsible because you didn't give the hungry, thirsty souls what they need. You just give information. What for you give information? They can Google and read all about Brahma Kumaris. Can you see? They can Google it. They can read everything. So why they must come and stand in front of you? Exactly. Correct? Let's move on. What is this? Now, if I ask you, this is a question you need to answer. You are going to speak for 1 hour. Correct? Assuming, or 30 minutes. When you speak, you are giving them so much of information. Am I right? You just stop, right? All of us stop. We are very good. We are all Gyan Sagars, ocean of knowledge. You give so much of it. But then, now please ask yourself, what is it that you want? Which points or message you want to stay in their head, which should stay in their intellect? What is it that they should remember when they go back? That means they forget your 1 hour lecture. After listening to your 1 hour lecture, they will say, wow, it is so good, nice lecture. But if they cannot remember and apply anything, you have failed in this. You are a good speaker, but you're just a speaker. You didn't create an impact. Now, let's go on and analyze further. Are you all okay? Am I confusing you? All right. Am I confusing you? Let me know. Am I confusing somebody here? I don't know. Who's around me? Can I ask somebody? Brenda, am I confusing you? Is Brenda there? No? Okay.
No, brother.
No? Good. All right. Good. I purposely did that. Do you know why? I wanted to break your attention for a while. Okay, good. Now let's move on. Now, let's change the topic. Because sometimes you have to go and talk to an outside group. Now, I'm going to give you an exercise now. The topic is managing stress in your life. And an organization in your country has called and said, can you please come and give talk to this 100 people? All these people are stressed. They are somebody. It's not a direct gyan. It's not a direct Baba's knowledge. But still, you want to show Brahma Kumaris is doing lots of charity, helping people remove their stress, teaching meditation. But fine. So what is the message you want to give? That's what I want you to do. So you will prepare all your informations, right? Now you need to think one more. Now, what is it that I want them to remember forever after many days once I leave the talk? What is it that you want them to remember? 1 or 2 or 3, doesn't matter. What main point I don't want them to forget? So if you say, I don't want them to forget about God, let's say, of course, it's nothing to do with stress here. Let's say, or I don't want them to forget about that they should meditate every day, twice a day. That's the take back. So when they walk out of the hall, they will think, I have to meditate. That's their take back. Can you see? Their intellect is telling them. Now, question. For them to think like this, what is their thinking? What are they thinking? When they walk out from the hall, from the center, I need to meditate. I need to meditate. That's what the intellect is telling them. Now, how did you manage to make their intellect think like that? What did you do? Now move backwards. What should you do? What should you do? You need to emphasize. Remember? You need to use certain technique. You need to make them write this thing. Please put down in your notebook, I will meditate 5 a.m. in the morning for 10 minutes. Evening 7:30, 10 minutes. Please write it down. Please write it down. So if it's a one-to-one student, but when you say like that, it's like forcing. So you can say, I'm going to give you some homework you must do. Can you please commit? All right, please write it down. Then you see, so this is like writing down. And then you emphasize throughout that 1 hour lecture, you emphasize the same thing in a same way or different way, but make sure they understood. And then before they leave, you say, could you please tell me why you must meditate? And then they will say something. Again, you emphasize, you finish, you say something, let them finish your words. What are you doing? You are creating multiple impression on the sanskara. It hits once, first time on the sanskara, then hits second time on the sanskara, third time on the sanskara, fourth time on the sanskara, fifth time on the sanskara. Let it hit 7 times. It becomes part of them for that day. That's the take back. Everything else they will remember, but it doesn't matter because they'll forget until they come back again. Good. So now managing stress. Let's take a look. Now you need to, now that means for you to give them what they want, you need to know what your audience needs. Look, again, understand their needs. You need to know what they want. Right? The stress topic is just an example, okay? All right? So try on different topics. Okay, good. Understand what they need. Now, I'm going to give you an example. All right? Watch this. Watch this. I just picked this up. It's okay to use this kind of statistics because then people can relate to their own life. So you as the teacher, if you think you're giving on a particular topic, let's say somebody has invited you for stress, and stress is real for people. Look, I put this statistic. What are you doing? You're reading, you know, some of you are reading, right? You're looking at it. But unfortunately, you have no idea. You're trying to read everything, and I'm giving you time. Now, remember, this is information. Let's say you want to talk on this. What do you talk? Remember, it's information. I don't want to talk. I will ask questions. Because I want people to think. Remember the technique of questioning. Can somebody here tell me which is the 3 highest causing stress causing part or work or situations? Please tell me what's the 3 highest. So I'm going to ask. Please, can you please answer? Can you please answer? I'm going to ask one by one. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. Then praise them a bit. Yes, you saw it. Highest is work demand. What's work demand? When work requires new skill, you don't have it, you get stressed. When boss asks you to do something and there's not enough people, too much work, you get so stressed. Work keeps increasing and you can't seem to finish. That's very stressful. And then you ask the next question. Why do you think I'm showing you this? Do you know what I'm doing? Remember what's the technique of the trainer? Never give answer. Because everybody actually knows the answer. It's just that the intellect is not working. Your work, Baba's children's work, is to make their intellect clear. Ask them question. What is this telling? What is this telling? Ask them. Are you trying to say that you can't manage? Are you trying to say, ask different questions? And then go back. Now I'm going to tell you what's a take back. All this is called information. So what you just did was make them think about the information. After they have processed the information, understood the information, you give your points, they give some feedback, you give some Baba's Gyan on it, all right? Then you make the next move. Now, brothers and sisters, we have just seen this. Thank you for your great discussion. You can say something, anything you like. But can you think now, what do you have to do now? Number 1, information which is here, you need to change it. teach them now. This is what I want you to do. Make it clear, make it, write it down, make them commit. Ask them to stand up if you have to, if they are willing to. Ask them to commit. What do you have to do? What's the take back? Simple. What did you do? See, when you give information, this is what you do. We are all very good at this. You explain the information. You give examples, correct? You give lots of examples, correct? You give lots of examples. Let's say you're talking about karma, correct? If you talk about karma, you'll be giving lots of examples, right? You talk and talk and talk and talk. Good. So they listen. They're very convinced. They're happy. But what's the take back? This is what they need to do. What is the take back? What are you going to do? What are you going to commit? What are you going to apply? So you need to ask them, what actions do you think? What do you think you need to do after this? You've understood the karma, isn't it? Now you tell me. Then they will give you some answer which doesn't make sense. Sometimes some good answers will come out. But then you move on to finish the take back. What's the take back? Because for them to do this, people don't simply do. They're lazy. It's a Kali Yuga nature. The sanskar is lazy. The intellect is lazy. It doesn't have that power. You need to give power. Power you can give through ways. Make them understand. And do you know why you have to? This how and the why is the technique to convince people, is the method to get them to commit to the action that you're asking them to take. This is how the trainer finishes, summarizes. You don't believe me? See how Shivani Bands finishes as a talk. Or she will do this multiple times because she speaks for 1.5 hours. And then get them to commit. The next time you see them and say, what happened? Because the next thing a trainer, a good teacher will do is to follow up. Who taught you this? Baba teaches this. Every day, Baba follow up, isn't it? Have you seen? And it sounds like repeating. He's actually following up with us. Children, did you do this? No, some of you are not doing it. Can you see what he's doing? Follow up is the way. You need to get students committed. Ask them, did you do? And when you follow up, they feel that you are appreciating them more. You are serious in bringing change in them. That's Brahmins call as sustaining souls. But sometimes wrongly understood. But what is sustaining souls? Because we don't sustain soul on a physical level, but we sustain them through how much progress have you done? Do you need help? Need more understanding? Talk to me, give me your feedback. Spiritual sustenance. This is what we teachers are good at. Baba's children are. So this must be emphasized. All right? Good. I hope you're okay. All right? So I'm going to stop at this point unless you have got any question on any slides. And I will. Thank you, Sister Sarah and Queen, Sister Queen. I think they also put some chat there. Please read the chats. Thank you. So this, Baba all the time does that. Nothing is new. I'm just simplifying all the information that Baba is giving in a more simple way so that we can immediately move into it. Of course, we are still doing basic stuff. All right? So you need to practice this. Those who are especially in the beginner level have not done it, go and try it out, okay? Try whatever you can. Not everything is okay. Try whatever you can. But those of you who are really expert teachers, if you feel this is too basic, try something, all right? Give me your feedback. Let me know if you need more help in any way. Okay, I'm going to stop.
Om Shanti, brother, I have a question. Can I ask a question?
Please.
Okay, thank you, brother. Brother, I mean, I really enjoyed your class. You open a lot of insights. I mean, I understand your techniques, all they are very good for, let's say, for a general lecture. Let's say, you want to talk about karma, anything, any topic, it can work. But my question is, how does it work for factual kind of lesson factual? For example, you want to tell a 11-year-old child what is an atom. I mean, the child never heard of atom before, so it's something very factual. You got to answer in a very factual manner. What is an atom, proton, neutron, all the things you got to explain.
Thank you.
Okay. That's one thing. Coming back to spirituality, if you want to talk to, if you want to give a Agyani soul, what is a soul, what is a supreme soul, these are all very factual information. We also didn't know. Only Baba told it to us. Then we understood what is a soul, what is a supreme soul. Yeah. Even a scientist doesn't know. So how do you make, because they have no experience at all. For example, positive thinking, they have experience. Karma, they have some kind of experience. So when you tell they're able to think, they're able to go in deeper, we can guide them where we want. But factual information like this, how do you bring the lesson up?
Thank you. This is what Brother Suresh, right?
Yeah.
What
Yes.
Brother Suresh asks is exactly what I'm talking about when you need to understand the audience needs. Sometimes this audience are too logical, factual. It doesn't work sometimes. So we have to have different methods, like you need to be giving analogies indirectly. And sometimes when you're talking to very logical people, you probably have to have some of their knowledge, some facts which they know before you actually have time to talk. If not, we might embarrass ourselves. So if you are attempting to talk to somebody of a different level, at a scientist level, and they will listen to you, but they will say, no, I can't connect with what you're saying because what I've learned and understood very deeply doesn't seem to connect with what you say. Actually, Baba's knowledge can be connected, but it's just that I'm not in a position, I don't know, or I'm not in the position to tell that person. We need to generally give to a small children, analogies are really great. Some stories, and then move on from there. But really, brother, you're asking me a very challenging question, because this is probably need to have lots of different information, especially when you're dealing with people. All right? I always face these problems because my first clients, when I started teaching strategy, I was teaching scientists and what do you call engineers in Malaysia's one of the ministry. And I had this great challenge, but luckily I'm from a very deep science background, and I started relating all this, and they were really impressed. But ordinary people who has no deep science background will get stuck. Even speaking to engineers, they will get stuck, because engineers are very dominant people who can argue back with you with facts. You will lose. You need to know your audience. Do you want to take them head on or play a different game? Thank you, Brother Suresh. I can't really give you a definite answer, but fantastic. Thank you.
And now, brother, most of your thing can be applied for most of the situations, so it's good enough.
I hope 80% at least, hopefully. Any other questions you have, please? Thank you so much. So I think Sister Helen has recorded the whole thing, and I will also upload in the YouTube, and the link will be given to you. And then I will also give the drive for my slides if you need, right under the YouTube link, or I will send you the link. You can directly download from my Google. All right, I will do that to you if you need it. Okay, Sister Helen, back to you. Thank you so much.
All right.
I would like to, I have a note. I'd like to share something on, is there some time or are we finishing? You know, on the image of the intellect, sanskars and mind, what comes across to me is that particular image that it doesn't make an impact, because it's like, it should, how to explain, it should be more neutral or illustration. It's very masculine, it's very hard somehow, it's very artificial intelligence, and then the target, you know, the point of light and the waves is very much, it touches some sanskars of, I have opposition because it's like bellic, you know, with war, something.
Yeah.
I'm not so able to explain it in English, but how the image is made. So if it's just neutral,
yeah,
more illustration, you know, just a profile comes across differently.
Impact might be different. Thank
Yeah.
you. Good to see you again, Sister Romina. Okay, so I think Sister Romina is from Italy. Are you from Italy?
No, I live in Switzerland.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Anything else? If not, I'll pass to Sister Helen.
Okay, thank you. Brother Andre, you have your hands up. Yeah, you want
Yes, brother.
Shanti. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Nanda. That was wonderful. Now that we've seen part one, content, data, needs of the audience, and delivery style, would you share, so that my foresight is and curiosity is satisfied, what's in part two?
Okay, you're being very humble. Brother Andre is a trainer himself. Yeah, right? Okay, anyway. We can go deeper into content creation. Now, one is content creation, then content flexibility, creating content on the spot. And that's where, remember, I kept telling you, you need to take in between breaks, 5 minutes to divert. That's where you create content flexibility. That's absolutely important in Baba's system, because Baba always says, what you speak, you need to quickly change if the audience are different, feeling the pulse. We prepare something. After speaking for 10 minutes, you know this is not what's supposed to happen. I've heard Sister Jayanti Ben or many have said that they wrote a huge script, they went there, but when they start speaking, it's all different. It always happens to be case, right? Yeah, correct. But sometimes now, especially if you're conducting long workshops, like I have to conduct 8 hours workshops in one go, one day. I need to hold their attention, and so this content flexibility is very important. So content creation, and then having that content flexibility, making ourselves very flexible in changing things, and then applying meditation technique, the various different techniques of how to introduce Gyan, because that's our main work. All right, giving talk is maybe a Lockheed work, but our main work is giving Gyan to whoever, whichever religion, in the most subtle way or direct way. How do we do it? So a little bit more refinement. So probably that's where it is. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. So thank you, and good to see so many of you. And Sister Nunik is also here. Thank you, Sister Nunik. Good to see you. Okay. Sister Helen, pass to you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Brother Nanda. I think everyone appreciated that, and they're asking when is the part 2? Is it next Sunday? But I think we need to plan for it a bit, you know, look at the calendar. And then as usual, when it's sent out, then as how you know about this, I guess you will get the notification. Okay, so perhaps if everyone, you want to turn on your camera when we conclude. And thank you everyone for joining in. We can conclude with just a minute of silence, all right? Yeah, you can turn on your
You take
camera.
a photo, a screenshot of them, Sister Helen? Okay. If you can, open your cameras. If you open, if cannot, it doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah, it's good to look at everybody. Turn on your cameras. Yeah, we have a minute of remembrance as we give drishti to each other. Thank you all very much. Good evening. Om Shanti.